Welcome to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm Nick James, and this is Nick Miles.
Santa Fe, New Mexico has a very rich history. Around 950, this became a collection of villages. It was first inhabited. 1150, it became more of a region, more of a center, formed together with those villages. And so on and so forth. Throughout history, this place has become Santa Fe.
That's right. It is actually the oldest capital in the United States and one of the oldest constantly occupied cities in the U.S.
It started off where it was part of Mexico, then became part of Texas, it was arguably part of Arizona, and finally New Mexico was born. And it's played a great role in international formulation as well.
With such a vibrant art culture, we decided that there could be no better car to bring to this lovely city than the 2013 Volkswagen Jetta Hybrid.
We're going to drive it, we're going to take it on the road and see how it handles, and we're going to take a look on the inside and outside to find out if the Jetta Hybrid should be added to your list of test drives this year. Sonic, there's very little changed on the outside of the 2013 Jetta Hybrid. For Hybrid, they've added these fancy wheels as a premium wheel on the SELs, and those are fan-shaped. They almost look like they're in motion. And they are, I think, 17s. And then when you get to the Hybrid badge, they have their Think Blue ideas continued through in the badge. It has this sort of blue drop shadow.
Yeah, I think those wheels are fabulous looking. Also, Nick, you'll notice maybe the front fascia has changed a bit. It's a little bit more aerodynamic. We also in the back have a more aerodynamic bumper. I can't quite show you that right now without hiding you behind the car, because it is actually probably... No, you're a bit taller. You're a bit taller than the car. So,
and you're a lot taller than the car.
I am a lot taller than the car. I think it's rather good looking. Do you?
Yeah, I think actually the new Jetta look is much more improved. They got a bit bubbly for a while, a bit sort of shapely, a bit roundy. And now that they squared the Jetta off a couple of years ago, I think it's back to the 90s, more closer to the 90s shaped Jetta, which I think was one of their best shapes that they've had.
I agree. They've really sort of made it look very premium, while not make it stand out. It's subtle, it's very German, and I like it a lot, and I'm glad they haven't ruined it for aerodynamics like other automakers have with their hybrid models.
Right, and I think this will have a longevity of design, whereas if you make it too outlandish,
too modern-y, yeah, too right at the moment, yeah, in 5 years it looks silly. This, I think, could, yeah, look classic and endure.
Excellent. Let's take it for a test drive.
Let's. And
find out how we feel about the handling.
Are we presenting now?
We are.
All right, now we're going to find out how the handling is.
He's got a style that's all his own.
Nick, behind the wheel, what's your impressions here? What do you think about this? Because when I drive hybrids, I notice they're really sort of shaky. It's not quite sure which power delivery it wants to go with.
Yeah, and that's the difference, I think, that they made between the hybrids that we're used to driving and this new Jetta Hybrid, is the fact that it's really smooth. It's actually almost impossible to tell that it's a hybrid. There's no differentiation between the electric motor and the gas motor, and when the brakes kick in to reclaim some of the energy which was lost, you can't feel them engage. It's a very smooth and very comfortable drive.
Well, it's not the only place where I found it's extremely fluid. Like you said, it really differentiates itself from the rest of the hybrid market. You know, parallel parking in, say, one of the Hyundai hybrids is nearly impossible, because you're trying to do electric, you know, pressing the gas, pressing nothing, and suddenly you're rocketing backwards. The switch between gas and electric is nearly seamless, and you're not going to get that electric shake.
Right.
And I mean, they've really done their research.
And well powered, I mean, I've floored it a couple of times, and although it doesn't do great 0 to 60 times, it's very, very constant. The engine's not struggling.
Well, you say it's not, you know, the greatest 0 to 60 times, but 8 seconds is pretty quick for a hybrid. I mean, put that in perspective, other hybrids, like the Prius, according to Car and Driver, is 10 seconds. So 2 seconds is nothing to shake a stick at there.
Yeah, but really, I think if the 0 to 60 is what you're buying a car for, this is not a car that you know.
But arguably, how many $24,000 cars, you know, just under, you know, around 25, can you get that do 0 to 60 much quicker than 8 seconds?
Right.
Very few. And what's the miles per gallon we get on this?
45 combined, and I think the other thing is too, which is pretty outstanding. It's a 1.4 liter engine. and that has a turbo on it. But at the same time, the electric engine pushes the horsepower up to 170 horsepower. Which, you know what, for a 1.4 liter engine is pretty good.
Power sent to the front wheels only. We got the lithium ions in the back, and right now I'm actually just, pardon me here, I was looking at the screen, the power delivery. Right now we're regenerative braking. I've noticed there is an EV mode here button. Tell me about that, Nick.
Well, the idea of the EV mode button is if you just want to use your car in electric only. And there's several different modes it works in, but in one of the modes, the electric motor can actually give you 1.2 miles and up to 44 miles per hour just using electricity.
So if I'm not mistaken, Nick, it's a 7-speed DSG automatic transmission. One of the best DSGs on the market, I think. Volkswagen's done a great thing in including it in the hybrid and not going to some sort of CVT transmission.
One thing I definitely notice is with the CVT transmissions, the cars become less fun to drive. They've also put a special clutch system in this, so it's much smoother on the transmission.
What do we think about this interior? This is the SEL model with a nicer interior with some of the goodies. We got an EV tack over there. Frankly, I love the Jetta interiors. I think they've done a fabulous job.
Yeah, they have that sort of, a little bit of that Swedish or the Spartan look to them, but at the same time, they're very technologically sound. Fairly simple. The soft dash is a big deal. Like, a lot of people love this soft dash. And the idea that they've chromed it up on the inside a little bit in the SEL model, so it gives you some extra panache on the inside of the car, brushed aluminum inlays, and also the hybrid name badge on the inside, so you know what you're driving and you feel good about the car. Let's talk about Santa Fe.
Right.
We're in a very unique area of town. I've never really been anywhere that looks like Santa Fe, New Mexico. What do you think when I talk to you about Santa Fe, New Mexico?
Well, it's interesting as you say that right here. It looks sort of, it's got that mix of sort of Pueblo, but also Old West, which is pretty interesting. But I know when I was telling people I was coming to Santa Fe, they've said you got to look into art. So I mean, obviously this is a big town for art, and I think we should probably check some of that out. What about you, Nick? What's your?
I mean, I do think about that. I think about Georgia O'Keeffe. And her delightful designs of flowers and things that may look like human anatomy.
I mean, kid, a 7-year-old's not going to look at it and go, oh, look,
Actually, I think a 7-year-old might.
Well, I don't know. When I was learning about it in art class when I was a child, I didn't think about lady bits. I just thought about really, big flowers, really close up with the flaps and folds and stuff.
Georgia O'Keeffe, painter of lady parts. So when you're in New Mexico, Nick, one of the things you've got to do is take a look at art. And so I brought you to this little art gallery because you can peruse with me, if you will, some of the beautiful artwork made here.
So we're not going to go see the atomic bomb site?
No, it's all about art.
Okay. Lovely.
Typical artistic talents are performed here in New Mexico. And when you look at this work of art, what do you see?
Colorful squares.
It might be raining, but all I can see.
Mother's milk here, Nick. What do you think we're seeing?
I'm definitely looking at the mother feeding the earth.
Got it.
And the beauty that we see is all from the mother, the roots growing into her, and they're getting the nourishment for the beauty above ground.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Bright colors. Do you have colorful art in your house?
Absolutely. A lot of my the art in my house is princesses and knights and swords and helmets and family heritage stuff.
Oh, okay. You come from a long line of dorks? Is that the?